as part of my training, I did some brain dissections, and I want to talk a little bit about the brain in general and how it differs than what you're seeing right here. This is a three-dimensional rendering of the cortex, and I did this in a really cool software where I virtually peeled the meninges off the brain and then focused on the gray matter here to create this mesh. So this is a really clean view of the cerebrum, okay? But when you're holding a brain, it looks a lot different than this. First of all, it's smaller than you think. You know, normally you look at someone's head and you're like, oh yeah, there's probably a big brain in there. Not really. I mean, the skull takes up some space. You got those meninge layers here, and then there's fluid in your skull, and then your brain is floating in that fluid. So it's a little bit smaller than you think. So it kind of looks like a small honeydew lemon. Okay, and it's the consistency of the brain. I'm telling you, it's kind of like a little bit more firm than scrambled eggs. It jiggles a little bit too if you shake it. Not like Jell-O. Jell-O jiggles a lot, but the brain, it will jiggle a little bit because the brain has a lot of fat tissue in it. It really does, and that helps conduction speed of the neural impulses. Any signal transfer in the brain, you want to have a very high speed. So in order to enhance the speed of the signal transfer, you need fat in your brain. It's a good, it allows for conduction of electricity really well. So yeah, you got this tiny brain, and it's really cool how you can see discretely two hemispheres. So you're holding it, and there's this huge fissure that goes front to back in the brain. That's called the longitudinal fissure. Right here. So you can see the left hemisphere, the right hemisphere. What we're seeing here is just the left hemisphere. Okay, so there's a whole nother right hemisphere on the other side. But it's really cool to be able to manipulate a brain because you can look at the internal structures a little bit better. You can get a good relative view of the size difference between different parts of the brain and where different structures are relative to other structures. So when I'm really interested in looking at the auditory structures of the brain, what I'll do is I'll peel back the temporal lobe right here, and then I'll open up this flap here. This is called the operculum, the parietal and frontal operculum. You peel that back, and now you can peer into the depths of the sylvian fissure right here. And that's where the majority of auditory structures are in the cortex that process sound. So yeah, a little bit of fun fact about the brain. It smells a little bit like formaldehyde, but if you can get by that, it's super cool. You need to experience it if you can.